Hey guys, Blade Bosco here with the Movement, and today I thought it'd be a cool idea to go through my gear list. You know, I've been on 2 backpacking trips so far, but once the van is up and running and I'm traveling around the U.S., I plan on going a lot more. So I thought it'd be a cool idea to show you guys what I had now versus what I probably will have, and hopefully have better stuff later. Right off the bat, guys, I have to carry around my drone with me and my nice camera with me, and so it takes up a lot of space in the bag already. So you're kind of limited with what you can bring. So I'm pretty minimal with my stuff, but you'll see there's definitely some things I could have gotten that were smaller and more practical, but it's just what I had when I went on the trip anyway. So let me show you guys what I have so far. So the first thing on my list is the backpack. This is my Osprey backpack. Not too familiar with backpacking brands, but this is the one I got for my Yellowstone trip, which is the first one. And it served me well on the Arkansas trip too. The bag weighs about 4 pounds. It is very sturdy. It's got this whole liner going all the way down here, so it's very firm on your back. Feels very secure. I had no problems with it. I kind of loaded the thing up to the top, and so it kind of got a little top heavy. I know there are lighter backpacks out there. I haven't tried them yet. It's kind of the only one I've ever tried so far. So maybe next trip I go on, I'll buy like a lightweight minimalist backpack and see how it feels. But I really loved having the support on the back here. Felt secure, wasn't wobbling too much. So overall, love the purchase. I'm happy with it, but I will try out a lighter one and let you guys know what I think of that. Up next are my shoes. Now with shoes, I'm not very good at telling the difference between them. You know, I can hike in gym shoes, I can hike in basketball shoes with the high ankle support, and I don't really notice it yet. The long hikes I've had gone on, I've used only my hiking shoes. I haven't tried doing it with the gym shoes yet. I know some people who try using trail running shoes for those long trips. So maybe next backpacking trip I go on, I'll buy some of those to try those out. But what I have are some low ankle support North Face Ultra 109 hiking shoes. They are light, they are very firm. Didn't roll my ankle once in them, which is a good thing. I'm not sure how I would fare with the higher ankle support ones. I've seen some people wear them. I don't know how I feel about it. I know I would like to have the extra ankle support in case I do run the risk of rolling my ankle. As a skateboarder, I know how painful that is, and I don't want to be lost 10 miles in the trail with a rolled ankle. So I like these for now. They worked very well. They're very secure. I didn't roll my ankle in them. They felt very light. Overall, no problems with them. They are a little heavy, so maybe I will try out just some trail running shoes in the future. Maybe I will try out some high top trail shoes later in the future. But for now, guys, these served me very well. So up next is my water supply. Now this one, I used it because I had it, but moving forward, I probably will go with something else because this is how big and unnecessary it is. This is my Grail pressure filtered water supply. I bought it for Pakistan because I had interest in drinking water over there, so I carried this around with me the whole time. But basically it works is slide it out, filter here, you put the water in here, get it through a stream, and then you just slowly, and it takes a lot of work, guys, a lot of muscle. You press it all the way down. It feels like a full-blown workout doing this. I was getting so frustrated on the trail trying to do this because I'm tired, as I'm thirsty. But eventually it goes all the way down. That's enough for now, guys. Eventually it goes all the way down, and then you have clean drinking water. So it works. It's very simple, but it's very bulky and doesn't compress very well. I've seen people use the small roll-up plastic bottle, put a little filter on the top, and then just use like smart water bottles or any kind of generic water bottle and put in their bags. In the future, I probably will go with that option because it seems more lighter and compact. This thing was definitely a pain in the ass to lug around, and doesn't really hold that much water too, but it's what I had, and it served me well, guys. So if you're going to a different country and you want a good water bottle for that, I would love this thing. I would recommend this to you. But if you're going backpacking, this thing's probably a little too sturdy and too much of a pain in the ass to carry around. So up next is my battery supply. I only had one camera battery at the time because I didn't buy a backup battery yet. I had 3 drone batteries, so those are fine. I had my phone too. I was using all trails to track the route. And so I brought my solar powered Kedron 22,000 milliamp hour battery. This is probably overkill. It was solar powered, so in case I ever ran out, I knew I could get some kind of battery just from leaving it in the sun. But this thing was able to charge my camera to full power, my phone to full power, and still had plenty left over. So I probably overkill it with this. I would probably recommend bringing some kind of small backup battery in the future. Hopefully I'd use enough technology to require this, but this is probably overkill. But this is what got me by on the Arkansas trip. Up next is cooking. For me, it's no brainer. I went with the Jetboil. It's very small, very compact, very small propane thing too, fits very under it. You just take it off, you put an attachment on. It sits just like this, guys. You put water in, you boil it quickly within like a minute or two, not even a minute, like a solid minute. You cook your food with it. It's very fast, it's very efficient, very compact. I know some people out there, they don't need the hot water, they just get water and put it in their food. I wanted some hot food. I brought basically it's like pasta and the eggs for breakfast. So I wanted some nice hot food in the morning, and so this worked out. I know they have bigger ones. I'm sure they have even more minimal ones. I had room in the bag. This was a perfect size. I loved it, guys. It worked every time. Had no problems with it. I'm gonna keep this one going forward until I find something better, but I don't think I will. Alright, up next is the sleeping bag. This is probably where I overdid it. This is probably where I have the most room to improve. This is the only thing I had at my house at the time, is this big, thick sleeping bag. A Marma Aspen 40 degrees minimalist sleeping bag. It does not seem very minimal to me. It is pretty big. I know there's some skinnier and thinner sleeping bags out there. I am definitely moving forward going to get some of those, because this took up the most space in my entire bag, but it's the only thing I had at the time, so I brought it with. It kept me warm. In fact, I was sweating at night because it was so warm, because it wasn't that hot in Arkansas, so I probably overkilled it again, but it served its purpose. Going forward, I'm going to have to let her go, unless I'm going to Alaska or somewhere freezing cold where I'm going to need it. Guys, is the tent. This tent, this is the only one I have at my house again for the Yellowstone trip. It is a 2-person Nemo tent. I loved it. I loved having the space because I had to bring my backpack inside because it was raining out. So I was happy to have the extra space. If I'm more organized and more prepared, I probably could get by in the single-person tent. But I loved having extra space to lay around, stretch out in the morning. It served me well. It's super easy to set up, and especially when you're tired of hiking, and if you're like me, you plan out your route poorly and you're setting up tent at 7 o'clock at night when it's about to get dark. So it's easy to assemble. It was comfortable on the inside. It was spacious. So going forward, I probably will stick with this, just in case I ever need to bring someone along on the trip. I had the extra space in the tent to fit them. This next one was a hard purchase for me because it's probably the most expensive part of the thing I bought. It is my Neo Air X Lite sleeping pad. Now, in the past, I've used those thick foam pads you roll up and you attach to the bottom of your bag, but I was sick of them getting wet all the time, and so I finally sucked it up and I made a purchase. It was like 175 bucks. I was so upset at the time until I finally set it up, and I got the best night's sleep of my life. So I was so happy I bought it. It is very compact. I don't have a good way of storing it yet, so I kind of just rolled it up in this extra bag I had. Not the most efficient way to do it, though. But you roll it out, you inflate it. It feels incredible, guys. It is very thick. It's wide enough to fit on. I could not recommend this thing enough. It gave me the best night's sleep of my life, and I am so thankful I had it and not just a small pad that I would have to roll up and put in the bottom of my bag. So, best purchase I made. Regretted at the time. Thankful I had it. Later, going forward, I'm definitely going to keep it. I don't think I'm going to find a better one than this, guys. Up next is another purchase that I didn't think I'd appreciate as much as I did until I got it. It is my little pillow. I forgot the brand name. It is a Ceto Summit pillow. This thing, I bought the smallest pillow I could find because I wanted to take up the least amount of space possible. It's tiny. I didn't think it'd get that big when you blow it up, but you blow it up and it's huge. It's like the mattress, guys. It's like an inch thick. plenty of space for your head, no uneven air pockets. I got great night's sleep on it. I was so happy I found this thing. You know, these purchases, they're so frustrating to make because they're like 30, 40 bucks. The sleeping pad's like 175 bucks. And so you hate doing it at the time, but when you finally lay down and you're so comfortable and you forgot all the negative feelings you had about when you bought it. So going forward, I'm definitely going to keep this. It hasn't failed me yet, and I don't think it's going to fail me in the future. So overall, happy with this purchase too. Up next is my rain covering. I just bought a generic poncho. I looked at the forecast in Arkansas. It said 15% chance of rain. So I thought, you know, Bill, you're probably not going to need that, but you should bring it just in case. I'm not going to take it out. This is too tightly packed in there. Ended up pouring on me. Normally I wouldn't care because I probably have like the GoPro or nothing that I care about getting wet on me. But I brought a camera with me. First trip with it, I was paranoid. I was freaking out in the rain. This poncho was easy to take out, put it over me, had plenty of room on the inside, so I was just huddling the camera. At one point, it would not stop raining. I was under a tree, sitting next to it for like an hour straight, just huddling over my camera, praying for the rain to pass, and finally it did, and this thing held up. So I'm glad I had this. I was supposed to bring a rain jacket, but I didn't want to carry the extra weight. So this is a good alternative. In the future, I probably will keep this. Unless I know for a fact it's going to rain heavy, I might get a rain jacket and plan accordingly, but these things are cheap, they're very small, they worked very well, and I'm glad I brought it. Up next are socks. I brought 2 pairs of socks. Normally, it'd probably be fine, but in the trail I went in Arkansas, they have some of these parts of the river you just have to literally just walk through, and it's like mid-shin deep, and there's literally no way around it unless you take your shoes off. Probably would have been a good idea, but I was too lazy to do it, and so I just walked right through it. So I'm glad I brought 2 pairs of socks. These are just generic hiking socks. They worked well. I wish I would have brought more socks. I wish I would have brought a spare change of clothes, at least a shirt at least, because at the end of the day one, I was sweaty, I was rained on, I smelled awful. I hung my clothes up, didn't dry in the morning, they were still terrible in the morning, and I hiked 10 hours the next day in my terrible clothes. Very uncomfortable experience. So normally, I would hope, most trails aren't going to pour on you like that. Most trails aren't going to lead through a mid-shin deep water like that, but that's what Arkansas did to me. And so I got by, thankfully, because I had 2 pairs of socks that felt so great to put on in the morning. So going forward, I'll probably bring more clothes just so I could feel good hiking the next day. So the other big thing that took up a lot of space in my bag was my drone. I have a DJI Mavic Mini, which is supposed to be the smallest one. Still comes in a big case. Probably didn't need to bring the case, but I wanted to have extra protection from the rain, so I did bring it. Having the drone was a blessing. Everything looks better on a drone. You can capture nature so much better with it, so I'm glad I brought it. It's easy to fly, it's compact, it's easy to set up. Downside is the wind. Takes this thing and tosses it like a salad, just catches it and takes it away. So sometimes it gets very scary the higher you get. Thankfully didn't lose it, it survived. I got great shots with it for the Arkansas trip. I was happy I brought it. Going forward, I will definitely keep this up. It's my favorite drone so far. It's also my first drone, so maybe as I get more experience, I'll get a higher end drone, but for now, this works perfect for me, and I'm glad I have it. The last 2 things, very minuscule, it's random stuff. Generic headlamp, didn't even use it. Thankfully I got there in time before it became pitch black at night, but I'm glad I brought it at least. Other thing, generic pocket knife. Thankfully didn't have to use it. Probably should have got some beer mace or some kind of spray going forward, but all I had to bring was a knife and nothing attacked me. I got by, I survived. So going forward, I probably will keep these things. If I go in a more high-risk area, there's more bears or any kind of animal, I probably will bring some bear mace or some more protection. But for now, that's all I had, guys, and it served me very well. So that is my entire gear list of my backpacking trip so far. Now I've only been on 2 guys, so I'm not the most experienced backpacker, but I have gone on some trips. And so especially when I take off in the van, I'm sure my list will change dramatically. I'm sure I'll sub out things here and there, try a different backpack out, maybe get some different kind of shoe along the way, different propane burner. So for now, guys, it got by. I told you what I would change going forward, but I probably wouldn't change going forward because I liked it so much. So the rest is up to you guys what you want to do. and just wait for the next video when I go on my next backpacking trip, and I'll update you guys then.